My sister faked a pregnancy to ruin my engagement. She got exposed at the wedding. Let me just say this up front. If you think family will always have your back, I hope my story makes you rethink that. Sometimes, the person holding the knife is someone who once braided your hair, shared your toys, and called you sis. My name's Riley. I'm 27 now, and I got engaged last year to a man named Ethan. We've been together for 4 years, and until last spring, life was good, great, even. We met at a charity art auction, bonded over a sarcastic comment about modern art, and never really stopped talking after that. Ethan is the calm to my chaos. I'm impulsive, dramatic, I admit it, emotionally driven. He's logical, supportive, patient. The guy makes spreadsheets for vacations. I plan by vibes. We balance each other out. And honestly, I didn't think anything could ruin what we had, until my sister, Danielle, got involved. Danielle is 3 years older than me, and I know people say jealousy isn't something you grow out of, but with her, it's like she matured into it. We weren't always enemies. When we were kids, she was just the usual bossy big sister type. But when high school hit, something changed. It's like the more I succeeded, the more she seemed to hate me for it. When I made varsity soccer, she suddenly remembered she hated sports. When I got into a good college, she called it a safety school, even though she never even applied. When Ethan came into my life, well, she saw him as something else to compete for. At first, it was little things. Flirty comments when she thought I wasn't looking. Too many accidental brush-ups. But Ethan shut it down every single time, and I trusted him. Still, I'd be lying if I said it didn't bug me. We laughed it off, but part of me started to feel like Danielle was watching me not as a sister, but as an opponent, someone she wanted to beat. Things really kicked off when Ethan proposed. It was at a quiet little lake in Vermont. Just the two of us. No grand gestures, just pure intimacy and love. He gave me this custom-made ring with a sapphire, my birthstone. It wasn't flashy, just personal and beautiful. I cried like a child and said yes before he even finished his sentence. I called my mom first. She screamed. My dad cried. Then I called Danielle. Silence. Then in the fakest voice possible, oh my God, that's wow. So fast, huh? Fast? We'd been together for 4 years. I told myself not to let her ruin it. That night, I posted our engagement photo on Instagram. Guess who commented within 5 minutes? Danielle. Can't wait to see if the ring's real winking face. I deleted the comment, DM'd her, told her to cut it out. She brushed it off as a joke. But something told me it wasn't over. Not even close. Over the next few weeks, things got weirder. Danielle suddenly wanted to hang out with Ethan, alone. Claimed she wanted his help organizing a surprise for me. When I pushed back, she called me insecure. At one point, she showed up to our apartment at 8 a.m. with bagels, in lingerie under a trench coat. I confronted her. She said she'd forgotten what she was wearing underneath. Ethan looked like he was about to throw up. I told her never to pull that crap again, and she actually started crying, accusing me of being dramatic and always painting her as the villain. I started keeping my distance. My parents, completely blind to it all. Danielle was a golden child. She always knew how to say the right thing in front of them. Me, I've always been more raw, honest to a fault. Then came the real bombshell. 1 month before the wedding, Danielle asked to meet me, said it was urgent. Against my better judgment, I agreed. We met at a coffee shop near my office. She looked like hell. No makeup, messy hair, and no theatrics. Just straight up dread in her face. She slid into the booth, didn't order anything, and blurted out, I'm pregnant. It's Ethan's. I swear my soul left my body. She went on. Told me they'd been seeing each other behind my back, that it started during the planning stages of the wedding, that they never meant for it to go this far. But one thing led to another. I just stared at her. My brain refused to process what I was hearing. Then I did the worst thing possible. I believed her, at least for a moment. Not because I didn't trust Ethan, but because of the confidence in her eyes. She had details. Specifics. She mentioned a hotel near Ethan's office. The name of a cologne he wears that I thought only I knew about. She even pulled out an ultrasound photo. I broke down crying right there. Left the coffee shop without saying a word. I called Ethan from my car, screaming and sobbing. He had no idea what I was talking about. Swore on everything, his life, our future, his mother's grave, that he never touched her, that he hated how she looked at him, and had done everything he could to shut her down without tearing the family apart. I didn't know what to believe, so I went quiet. I paused the wedding, told people I had a health issue and needed time. I didn't tell my parents yet, didn't tell friends, just spiraled in silence. And Danielle? Oh, she was glowing, posting vague Instagram stories like, "Sometimes the truth hurts," and "Karma's a mirror." The whole thing was so performative, I felt like I was losing my mind. But something didn't add up. I started going back through texts. Danielle and I hadn't been close in years, but she wasn't smart enough to cover all her tracks. I noticed something odd. Screenshots she sent a supposed text between her and Ethan had typos he never made. One of the text timestamps overlapped with the time I knew Ethan was with me. Then there was the ultrasound photo. I asked a nurse friend of mine to look at it casually, and she immediately flagged it as a stock image. Said she'd seen it on Google Images during a presentation once. I dug deeper. The hotel she mentioned? I called. Asked if someone named Ethan had checked in under that name or a guest list during the dates she claimed. Nothing. I asked if the room number she gave even existed. It didn't. I started documenting everything. Screenshots, voice recordings, backups. I wasn't just going to expose her. I was going to bury her in truth. I didn't call her out. Not yet. I wanted it to sting. I told her the wedding was back on. Said I'd forgiven Ethan after a long talk. Her face when I told her was like watching someone swallow poison. She smiled, but her eyes didn't. She tried again to reveal the truth to my parents, but by then I had already told them everything, with proof. My dad looked like he was going to throw up. My mom cried for hours, mostly out of embarrassment. But we all agreed, let her dig her own grave. We sent the wedding invitations out. She was still invited, and I made sure she'd be front and center for what I had planned. Weddings are supposed to be the happiest day of your life. Mine? It was a mix of nerves, adrenaline, revenge, and a splash of justice. And honestly, I wouldn't change a thing. By the time our wedding day came, I had all the proof I needed that my sister, Danielle, had faked the pregnancy and tried to frame my fiancé, Ethan. I had screenshots of her clumsy Photoshop job on the ultrasound, a recording of her slipping up about dates that didn't match, and confirmation from the hotel she supposedly met up with Ethan at, proof that no reservation ever existed. I had it all, but instead of confronting her in private, I wanted her to feel the same humiliation she tried to inflict on me. And Ethan? He didn't just support the plan, he added to it. The wedding itself was everything I dreamed of. Soft white and navy colors, a string quartet playing Can't Help Falling in Love, and a venue right on the edge of a cliffside vineyard. The kind of place that screams romance, but with just enough drama to feel cinematic. Danielle arrived in a slinky, tight silver dress. Not inappropriate, but definitely chosen to steal attention. Her hair was professionally done. Makeup heavy. She looked smug. I greeted her politely. She gave Ethan a fake sweet smile and actually said, "Well, you clean up nice for a liar." He just nodded and said, "Thanks. You look about 6 months along. Shouldn't you be glowing?" She stiffened. Gotcha. She hadn't even bothered to fake a bump. It had been a full month since she claimed to be pregnant, and she still looked like she had just come from Pilates. The ceremony went on. I walked down the aisle with my dad, smiling like I didn't have a nuclear bomb in my purse. The vows were emotional, raw, and real. Ethan looked at me like I was the only person on the planet. Then came the reception, and the truth. Traditionally, the maid of honor gives a speech. I didn't have one. Danielle had expected to be it, of course. She made a huge deal about being my only sister and how this was her right. I quietly told her months before the wedding that I hadn't chosen one, trying to avoid more drama. She didn't know I had chosen someone, my best friend Julia, but we kept it quiet. So when Julia stood up at the reception, and grabbed the mic, Danielle's face went blank. Julia started off sweet, told funny stories about me in college, about Ethan being awkward on our first date, the usual warm, fuzzy stuff. Then she said, "Now, I know this is usually the part where we toast to love and happiness, and we will, but before I do that, I think there's something important the bride would like to share." Spotlight on me. I took the mic. My heart was pounding, but my voice? Steady. I started with, "Sometimes the people you love most are the ones who hurt you the deepest. But sometimes karma doesn't wait years. It waits just long enough for everyone to be watching." The room went quiet. Danielle's face drained of color. I could see her realizing something was wrong. I told the story. Not the romantic version. The real version. I told him that a month before this day, my sister came to me and told me she was pregnant with my fiancé's child. I said she came to me not with evidence, but with malice, that she had done everything she could to wreck our relationship out of jealousy. Then I revealed what I'd found, the fake ultrasound photo. I had it printed on a poster board and passed around. The text screenshots that didn't match Ethan's actual number or grammar. The hotel lie. The voice recording of her accidentally slipping up on a date. By the time I finished, gasps filled the room. My aunt dropped her wine glass. One of Danielle's friends got up and left. And Danielle? She just froze, like someone pulled the plug, and her whole system rebooted. Then she did what she always does when the spotlight turns on her the wrong way. She lied again. She stood up and started yelling. "This isn't true. She's twisting everything. Ethan admitted it to me. He told me he loved me. This is just some psycho jealousy move because I finally had something she didn't." You could hear the desperation in her voice. Gone was the smug mask. Gone was the sister who always had a backup plan. She looked cornered, exposed, unraveling. My mom stood up and said, "Enough! Danielle, stop." But Danielle didn't stop. She grabbed a wine glass and threw it at me. Ethan stepped in front of me, and it missed, but that was it. My dad and one of my uncles escorted her out. She went screaming and crying, shouting about how I'd ruined her life and how this was supposed to be her year. Her year? Seriously? She hadn't just tried to ruin my relationship. She tried to ruin my life. And now she'd torch her own. The rest of the reception was weird. Sure, people weren't sure how to act. But after a few drinks and a few good dances, everyone loosened up. In fact, people came up to me and thanked me for being honest, for being brave. A few even confessed they always felt something was off about Danielle. My cousin said, "Honestly, this is the most entertaining wedding I've ever been to." 1 week later, Danielle posted a 10-slide story on Instagram full of cryptic quotes about betrayal and fake family. She deleted it after about 3 hours. She's been in low contact with our family ever since. My mom tried to reach out to her, but Danielle just accused her of taking my side like always. My dad cut her off completely. She never apologized. Not once. She thought karma was something that happened to other people. But karma? Karma came for her in front of 120 people, a wedding cake, and an open bar. You'd think after blowing up her own reputation at my wedding, Danielle would have disappeared quietly, maybe moved to another state, started a blog about toxic family dynamics, joined a crystal cult, anything. But nope, she wasn't done yet. Married life was amazing. Ethan and I honeymooned in Croatia, hiked the coast, drank wine that cost more than our shoes, and stayed in a cliffside villa with zero phone signal. Bliss. Back home, I blocked Danielle on everything. My mom gave me sparse updates. She said Danielle had moved in with a guy named Marcus, some sketchy club promoter she met on Instagram, quit her job, and was trying to become an influencer. The irony of her calling me dramatic still makes me laugh. Then one day, a letter showed up at my door. An actual handwritten letter. It was 4 pages long, front and back. The kind of thing someone writes when their iCloud gets revoked and they still have trauma to dump. Here's the gist. She wasn't herself and was going through a dark time. She didn't know how far it had gone. She never meant to hurt me permanently and wished someone had helped her sooner. She blamed Ethan for confusing her feelings. She blamed me for taking things public. She ended it with, "You're my sister. I still love you, even if you hate me. I need you." No apology, no responsibility, just emotional manipulation wrapped in cursive. I didn't respond. She tried again, this time through email, claiming she was in crisis. Said Marcus had dumped her. She was 2 months behind on rent and had no one left. She asked if I could just lend her $3,000 to help her get back on her feet. $3,000 from the woman who faked a pregnancy to ruin my life. I didn't reply to that either. Instead, I forwarded the email to my mom and said, "If she contact me again, I'm filing a harassment report." That set off a mini civil war. My mom asked if I could just talk to Danielle. She gave me the whole blood is thicker than water speech. I reminded her that the full quote is, "The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb." Translation, the family you choose matters more than the one you're born into. My dad, thankfully, was on my side. He told my mom she made her bed, let her lie in it. He still hasn't spoken to Danielle since the wedding. My mom wavered for a few weeks, but eventually stopped pushing. I think she finally realized she couldn't keep making excuses for Danielle forever. About 2 months ago, I got a message on LinkedIn, of all places, from someone I didn't know. It was a recruiter for a marketing company I used to freelance for. She said, "Hey, random question. Is Danielle your sister?" Yikes. Turns out Danielle had applied for a content creation job. Not only had she listed me as a reference without asking, she also included my wedding photos in her portfolio, claiming she helped plan and design the whole thing. She didn't. Not a single flower. The recruiter said something felt off, so she did a little digging. Found my public Reddit account where I'd anonymously told this story in a throwaway months ago. Yes, ironic, I know. She put 2 and 2 together. I gave her the real story, with receipts. Needless to say, Danielle didn't get the job. It's been a year now since that wedding. Ethan and I are stronger than ever. We bought a house. We got a dog. We're building the kind of life my sister always pretended she wanted, but never actually earned. Danielle? Last I heard, she's doing MLMs on TikTok and trying to sell crystal-infused water bottles for $50 a pop. She occasionally posts dramatic life update videos, always playing the victim, always avoiding accountability. But the best part? Nobody's watching anymore. Her lies burned all her bridges, and now she's just yelling into the void, hoping someone pities her. I used to think family meant unconditional love. That no matter how toxic someone was, you had to hold space for them, because they're blood. Not anymore. Now I believe in chosen family, in boundaries, in self-respect, and in watching karma do what karma does best, quietly, efficiently, and when you least expect it. So, if you've got a Danielle in your life, let them go. They'll find karma on their own.